Hi guys, welcome back to the High Vibe channel. My name is Nell Nicole. I'm going to be your astrologer for today. And this video is going to be all about having Scorpio Moon in the natal chart. Let's talk about the personality traits. Let's talk about the relationship tendencies, the guys versus the girls. You know, we go the whole 9 here at High Vibe. Before we get started, please make sure to like this video for more content like it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see, you know what I'm saying, little conversations that I present on here. As well, if you're looking to get a personal reading from me, all that information is down below. All you have to do is find the link to nellnicole.com and go through to book your session. So let's talk about the Scorpio moons, okay? Because this video, I think I subconsciously saved like the best for last, because Scorpio moon, honey, y'all have been asking me for this video, okay? And I think that just, you know, all the research that I've done as an astrologer and things like that, the Scorpio placements always seem to be the most, some of the most misinterpreted, I want to almost say misunderstood placements, or some of the most intimidating placements. A lot of people, I feel like, are interested and curious to know more about the sign of Scorpio because just by nature, they are one of the most mysterious signs of the zodiac. And so people are always trying to like peek behind their veil, see what they've got going on. I cannot lie, I've been caught up in the Scorpio trap myself a few times, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to see like what really like is it about you motherfuckers that, I'm sorry, I cuss a lot. So, what is it about you people that seems to elude others so easily? And so it all comes down to what the sign of Scorpio rules over, and just their you know, the things that make up their archetype, okay? Today, we're going to focus, like I said, specifically on the Scorpio moon and what that means for a person as far as their personality goes, their life journey, how they deal with life, how they cope is really what we're talking about. So let's talk about the moon real fast. The moon in anyone's chart is going to show, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm ashy. Y'all know I got ADHD and I'm always distracted, so I'm going to talk and grab my lotion, if that's okay. But wherever the moon is, sorry about that, y'all. All up in the sauce. Wherever the moon is, that is going to tell you how a person deals with the emotional bouts that life throws at us. It tells you how they deal with trials and tribulation, how they deal with the subject of vulnerability. It tells you how they cope. The moon is all about our emotions and how we react when something kind of tugs on our emotional selves, right? And so anytime you have a person's moon sign, it's going to show you who they really are on the inside on a really deep intrinsic level. If you just know somebody as like a coworker, an associate, like they're not really somebody you would consider a friend, but it's somebody you see on the daily, more than likely, depending on what their moon sign is, because some of them like to make themselves more known than others, you may never pick up on any of the traits that that person's moon is in. You don't really get to know a person for who they really are and see the traits of their moon sign unless you're really close to them. You're in really close proximity as far as like a relationship or a really tight friendship. Your family members will really know you as this person. Like your family members might know your moon so well that they don't see your sun sign because they're not in the world with you. They're in your home with you. They share those emotional ties and bonds that come with growing up together and just really coming home to each other. And so let's talk about what that means as far as the Scorpio moon. So now Scorpio is, like I said, a very mysterious sign, one that likes to go under the radar. But one thing about a Scorpio, any placement, sun, moon, or rising, when they come into a room, they have this level of intensity about them that makes you want to pull the veil back and say, what are you really like? Because they're good at covering themselves and cloaking themselves and making the situation and the conversation about other people to deflect from all the intense drama that's going on with themselves. This is so funny because I know so many Scorpio moons and like y'all, people don't know the shit that y'all go through until they know it. It's like you would look at that person and think, oh yeah, they've got it all together because they're so good at masking. I have some notes as always, so if you see me looking down at a little piece of paper, it's just so that I don't lose my train of thought with my ADHD brain. I know y'all can relate, so just go ahead and give me some grace there, okay? All right, moving forward. The sign of Scorpio is the modality is fixed and the element is water. What does that mean and what implications does that have on a person's personality? So let's talk about it. Water signs are all about the emotional undercurrent. They are tapped into the energetic system, okay? And so water sign people, this is Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio people, tend to be extremely intense individuals. They are the types that when things bother them, when things are happening in their outer world, they cannot help but to respond. Now, they all respond a little bit differently. Pisces tends to detach a little bit. Sometimes they can be a little over obsessive and get lost in their own world. Cancer tends to sink their teeth in and really want you to pay attention to what's bothering them, or they close you off completely and you don't know what the hell is going on with the Cancer, and they're kind of like, they have these depressive moments where they go into their shell and they want somebody to really come get them out. Scorpio is more so the type that will fester in whatever it is that's going on wrong with them. If they're not on top, they are all the way underneath the bank, okay? Down there plotting on their revenge and plotting on their reemergence. And when they do reemerge, the intention is always to get back on top, okay? So they have these very extreme highs and lows to their personality type. Like I said, it is an emotional reaction. So if everything is going good, then for the most part, they'll be good. But if there's a slight inconvenience, you might think everything is good, but that slight inconvenience can knock them off their kilter or knock them off their tilt, and they will become like super depressive, and you'll be like, what the hell is going on? These are all things that I think, like, when I think about Scorpio Moon people, I always want to go directly to the childhood, because this you know, super high, super low, I feel like it's something that has been programmed into them from experiencing childhood trauma. I'm just gonna say it. I think that we all come into the world as like the purest version of our souls, and then the things that happen to us sort of shape how we respond to the world around us. And typically when you look at the science of it, astrology is like thousands of years of people observing people, right? And you can literally take that data and crunch the numbers and quantify what's going on. And when you look at the science of Scorpio moons, a lot of these people tend to have very, what do I want to say? Dark childhoods. I'm just going to call it out. When I have my clients and I do my readings and I tell them this, I'm always nervous. Like, I'm going to assume that you had a pretty dark shadow period in your childhood. And I always wait for them to be like, no, you've got me pegged wrong. But every single time, it never fails. They go from having this really like stoic look about them, because I do video readings, and then their face just drops and they're like, something about them relaxes, because I feel like they feel seen at that point. And there's something about the home environment. This is with any moon sign. You can look to the home environment, the early childhood experiences, to talk about how that moon sign deals with life. But for the Scorpio, being that they come from this sort of just dark, I don't know, it manifests in different ways for people, but from this dark sort of fertile ground, this is the seed that they've been planted into, or the ground, they are the seed that's been planted into the ground as a child. I say that to say that they tend to feel unseen as children. They tend to be in situations growing up where they're shushed, they're put into a room and told, go play, go mind kids' business, but nobody's there fostering their development as a child as much. They tend to have mothers that have difficulties during pregnancy or early childhood. So I've seen everything from, you know, domestic abuse when the mother was pregnant with them, to the point where the mother, you know, changed their mind about wanting to have a baby. And so the whole time that they're in utero, their mother is going through this experience that is like, if your baby's going through what you're going through, then there's all this negative energy being put into, you get what I'm saying? Into the belly while the baby is growing, okay? And so these people tend to be really sensitive, like highly emotionally charged when they come out. And so a lot of times the parents don't want to talk to a little child about what their hardships are as their children. And so the kids tend to feel shunned. They tend to feel like, I can tell something's going on wrong, but the adults are lying to me. They're trying to coddle me and trying to make me feel like I'm not sensing things correctly. It's kind of what narcissists do to empaths, where, You know, a narcissist will set up this emotional environment to trigger the empath in a way that's sort of like gaslighting them. And then when the empath feels away or gets upset, the narcissist is telling them, why are you so upset? There's nothing wrong. If you're sensing any sort of uncomfort, then your sensors must be off. But these people are so super intuitive. That is one of the gifts that you have being a Scorpio moon. You can intuit things. You can sense when somebody's not telling you the whole truth. You can feel almost because of all this back and forth between, you know, you feeling something so strongly and then that feeling being invalidated, that intuition gets sort of warped and twisted, and it becomes paranoia. It becomes suspicion, you know, where they're suspicious of anybody and everybody. It becomes this situation where, since the people that you grew up with were never honest with you, you think that honesty equals bad. And so you grow up with this like disposition to shield yourself and shield your truest emotions from other people, because your whole life you've been told your emotional self is too much. When you react to things, you know, you're reacting wrongly. You need to calm down. The worst thing you can possibly say to a Scorpio moon person when they're on one of their benders, because that's kind of what I call it, this is just my interpretation, my experience, is calm down. They don't want to fucking calm down. They'll calm down when they're ready. They'll calm down when their body tells them it's okay to calm down. From my observations, when these people feel these intense emotions, it's a literal thing. Like, you know, I'm an air sign, and I feel like we always get the rap as being non-emotional. And I can tell you that sometimes we do intellectualize our emotions. Like if I'm hurt, if I'm upset, then, and I have a Libra moon, I will think about it so much to the point where I put myself in pain. Like I'm thinking too hard. I'm overthinking. I need to chill out and redirect. Scorpio is not that easy. You know, for an air sign, all they'd have to do is distract their mind and put it on something else. For a Scorpio, the feelings are in every ounce of their molecular being. It's in their each atom that has created. You get what I'm saying? Like if the emotions are water and we're 70% water, when these people feel emotions, their whole body hurts. I'm thinking like, I get intuitive downloads sometimes when I talk astrology. I'm feeling like how people with sickle cell feel. And that's no diss or not to diminish, or I'm not trying to be ableist by, you know, referring an astrological placement to a quite physical disorder. I'm not sure what sickle cell would be categorized as. I don't think it's a disease, but I don't mean to trivialize sickle cell at all. I just know people who've been affected by it. And when that junk comes and when they have an attack, it is a full-on experience. It is not something that they can control. It is not something that they can turn off. You almost need to like put them on the stick and shut in list for a minute and let them go through their thing, tend to them, you know, are you okay? And sometimes when people go through those sickle cell, you know, flare-ups, they don't want to be touched. You can't, there's nothing you can do for that person in that moment because they're in such grave pain. The best thing you can do is just say, you know what, I'm here. Call me when you need me. Call me when you're ready. And they really respect that because, again, talking about the fixed water element of the Scorpio moon. So we talked about the water being the emotions. The fixed aspect is what really sets them apart from Pisces and Cancer. Any fixed sign is like just that. They're fixed. They take on the trope as being really, really stubborn. And it's not like they're sitting there like, I will, well, they do sit there and say, well, I will prove my will is stronger than yours. But it's like a part of them. It doesn't matter if you are their mother who they came out of, baby. If you are trying to move them and they are not ready to move, if you're trying to distract them and they are not ready to think about something else, if you're trying to, you know, just push them in any direction, they feel like it's a direct like threat of disrespect because they will move when they get ready to move. It's just the nature of the fixed signs. And the beauty in it is there's a level of consistency here that we see with the fixed signs. So Scorpio is really consistent when they have intense feelings and emotions. Good luck trying to convince them otherwise. Let's talk about what Scorpio actually means to get a little bit more insight on how that fixed nature actually shows up. So let me look at my notes. So when you think about still waters, I heard this quote when I was younger, like still waters are do not run clean. They are murky. So when we talk about them having these intense emotions and them being the element of still water, fixed water, whenever something goes on, they like to hold on to something negative per se. The positive stuff is like, it's cool, but they're still going to kind of find a way to be suspicious of it. They absolutely will enjoy any positivity that comes their way, but it has to be on their terms in a way. If things are too good, then they start to feel like, well, where is the malicious element in that? Because it's somewhere in there. What are you getting out of it? If you're being too nice to me, what are you getting out of it? Let's lay it on the table. Or in their minds, they're thinking they might not have this conversation with you. They might just start asking you questions, and they're exacerbating this information from you, so that they can lay it on the table in their mind and say, what exactly are they getting from this? Is that something I even want to give? And it can be to the point where you have a really close relationship with a Scorpio moon, but if they do that thing and they realize that it's not adding up to them, then they will literally just cut that shit off and be like, you know what? And hold on to what it is that they deem as threatening or valuable or whatever the case may be. Like, they're really awesome, like, at the art of war, because they're constantly evaluating my side against your side, because it's always gonna boil down to a power dynamic with them. And it's tough to compromise with the Scorpio moon because, like I said, they're like still waters. All of the impurities always settle to the bottom. And eventually what happens is they collect so much of it that it starts to build this pile of dirt that will peek out up top. And then it's like their shit is just exposed. So they tend to be really secretive about the things that bother them until they can't hold them in anymore. And when they get to that point where they actually combust, a lot of times it's irrational. A lot of times it's out of their control. They go from, like I said, it's this highs and lows, right? They go from being super controlled in their emotions and the way that, the things that they choose to show. And then when you see a little bit of that devil tail start to poke out, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. And if you're a real Scorpio moon, you know I'm not lying. So it's not a diss. This is just an observation. It's just an observation, okay? But when you start to see that little devil tail poke out, they'll just be like, fuck it, and take off the whole cloak and let your ass have it, okay? Or they're really good at taking what they want out of the situation and cutting your ass off. Again, another way to just like say, yeah, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I weighed out the pros and the cons. Yep, fuck you. So cool. I will say though, where this attitude a lot of times backfires for them is that because, they're always letting the sediment kind of, settle to the bottom, and they don't, still waters are murky. You see, rivers are okay to bathe in because they're constantly in flow. There's a constant purification process that happens as the water is moving. That still water collects disease, right? And so when you think about the Scorpio or anybody being 70% water, when they hold on to all of that negativity and they're trying to be in control, they're trying to maintain control so deeply, they can, how they say you can't, drink the poison and expect the other person to get sick. They end up harming themselves from the inside out. If these people don't have folks in their life that they can trust, that they can really go to and show them their full selves, and sometimes act the asshole and still be sort of like accepted and loved and, like made to feel like it's going to be okay, then they can really like become very bitter. They can quite literally rot from the inside out. A lot of people with Scorpio placements and Scorpio moon specifically tend to have like stomach issues, ulcer issues, because they, all that shit rests in the gut. When you feel something in your gut, it's literally in your gut. Like most of your health and wellness and stuff like that starts in the gut with what you eat, right? And how you process things. And that is your internal processing systems. All of your organs and things like that are right in that centralized area. All the things that you need to keep flowing are there. And so with this whole, like, this is not just an energetic thing when I say they hold on to shit, like literally clenching the abdomen, clenching like in such a state of trying to remain controlled, right? a lot of times they don't breathe when they get upset. They don't allow their body to function. They don't trust their body to function in the way that it needs to process foods and excrete them and things like that. And so they end up holding on so tightly and, you know, holding grudges so bad, they can fuck themselves up physically by that. As well, mentally, I feel like a lot of them, you know, hide who they really are because they know that if they expose the way that they think, and really all it is them exposing the way that they've been conditioned, right, to deal with the world, because they see the world with this kind of dark cloud energy over it, because ever since they were little, their feelings have always been invalidated. So they cannot be honest all the time. They cannot be, and when I say honest, I mean just like forthcoming and like, you know how you tell somebody something, it's like, whoo, I'm so happy to get that off my chest. Very rarely will you see a Scorpio do some shit like that, you know? And so they hold all that shit in. It not only affects their physical body, but it affects their mental, and it fucks up the way that they think. And you will ask a Scorpio, well, why did you do X, Y, and Z? And they tell you to be like, you realize you could have just fucking apologized, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have gone about that in a way that would have served everybody in the situation, but they truly do not see that as being the best option. They are very self-serving, because when they can win something, it really does boost their ego, and it makes them feel, remember, we are talking about feelings here with this being a moon sign video. They feel better because they won. They got a chance to, like, all of the shit that they're holding on to, they use that shit for manipulation tactics. So it's like, yeah, I might not win right now, but I'm putting this shit in my little mental file cabinet. So when I pull it out on your ass and I do have that win, everything that I sacrificed in the meantime will have been worth it. Okay? So watch out if you are a Scorpio moon, or you know, got a Scorpio moon child, honey, help them and help yourself by becoming more emotionally available. Get more in touch with healthy ways to exhibit your emotions. Communication is another thing I feel like Scorpio moons could really, like, it would serve them if they focused a little bit more on how to actively listen and really communicate with people, not just communicate to manipulate. Because there's that. And a lot of times they don't want to communicate at all. All they want to do is ask questions and listen. And so it's like, at what point are you going to become vulnerable enough to allow another person in and to actually be a part of the conversation, not just be a power player in it? Okay. Scorpio. Now we can get into what Scorpio really means. So I put a list up. So Scorpio represents sex, power, intense focus, obsession, manipulation, because manipulation helps them to acquire power. That is why they like it so much. If they can hit you from the side and you never know that it's coming, that gives them the advantage, and it gives them the opportunity to protect themselves. So a lot of times they will fake it till they make it. They will put up airs. They will tell you what you want to hear. And I mean, hey, it's all in the name of the game of life. And when I think about Scorpio, to me, it kind of represents chess, you know, like seeing life from that high up view and really sort of doing what you need to do to win. It is not about each individual move that's being made. If you try to pin a Scorpio moon down for doing something specific to you, they're going to like not even realize what they did wrong, because all they're thinking is, I had to do that so that I could do this. And you're like, well, you realize that was disrespectful. Okay, but fuck that. That was just a casualty of war. Why are you in my face? The battle's already done. I already won. What are we talking about? That is really how they think, and that's really how they operate emotionally. So it can be hard to connect with those people. And they don't even, I think, realize a lot of times. I think they know. It's just that they're so used to it that they brainwash themselves into, what is it called when you like have cognitive dissonance? Like, you know something's wrong, but because it stands in the way of you getting what you want, you just disregard it and act like it's not a thing. It's like selective hearing or selective what is it? Not morality. Yeah, having selective morals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, this shit is a game for real to them. So just watch out, bro. If you really trying to connect with them, good luck, babe. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, they have people who can get to their sweet spots, but those tend to be the people who get the really short end of the stick, because you, like I said, when they show that tail, that devil tail, and they really take down the cloak, at that point, you know me. You know what to expect. Why are you making a big deal out of this? You already know how I am. We're going to move past it. We're going to get to the good times. Until another battle comes up, we're good. Good? We're good? Okay, we're good. You know, you just kind of have to accept it if you want to keep them in your lives. Like, that's real shit, for real. Now, if they choose to really work on themselves and develop themselves, Scorpio moons can be some really insightful and wise people. But I feel that it takes them a long time to get to that point where they really take full accountability for who they are and how they are. And they have to experience a shift in priorities and a shift in values, which that's not something another person can initiate. That has to be initiated fully and completely, wholly by that Scorpio moon, so that they stop sabotaging the things that are going on in their own lives. Because y'all, I have so much to say about Scorpio moons. Maybe that's why I was putting this video off. But self-sabotage is another Scorpio trait. These people, like I said, they want to win. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to come together for the sake of having somebody or having a family or having friends or whatever the case may be. They only want what they really want. And so if one of their values is to be a family man, they will produce the family, but they might not fully be bought into the whole idea of like every aspect that goes into that. They might not really want to be faithful to a wife. They just want the family. So am I providing for these kids? Am I showing up? Then bitch, shut up. You feel me? Like, it's a really weird energy, but I noticed that they tend to have all the makings of a really great person. You get them in certain situations and they sabotage them bitches, I feel like, because they're not fully being honest with themselves about who they are and what they really want. And because they're not honest with themselves about it, they cannot be honest with other people, and they would choose to play the game instead of just be honest. Now, a Libra moon, I could speak for myself. If I wanted an open relationship and I knew I wanted a family, but I still wanted to date, I'm going to be like, hey, so dig, what do you think about polyamory? Or just, I don't know. That's not what I want, but I'm just saying I would be open to have the conversation. I would initiate the conversation. I would try to see how can I make this work for myself and the person that I'm with. Scorpio moons do not want to consider other people for real. Sometimes the things that they want in life require them to have to work with other people. But is that some shit they really want to do? No. So unless you are a bona fide 100% through and through asset, then just expect to get played. And even if you are an asset, they still gonna bullshit you too, because they bullshit themselves a lot. So, I mean, there's, like I said, there's those high highs, and they can bring a lot to the table. But at the same time, I think there's just something about them that it's like, you know, it's as above, so below. As high as they can go just that low, okay? And so at any point, if they just cut you off, if they start doing fuck shit, it's just like they doing what they feel like they need to do. It's necessary to get where they're trying to go. And if you need a whole bunch of coddling and things like that, they're not the people for you. You got to be you got to be able to look at the world in a realistic black and white, like, see shit for what it is to be able to even like really deal with them for real. Because man, oh man, they will try to twist some shit up on you, and you got to just realize the bottom line is people do what they want to do, period. All right, moving forward, I have a couple more notes. Like I said, these people can be very low key, but if you are in their personal life, they latch on and can affect your life very greatly as well. So just like I said about how they self-sabotage, if you sign contracts with these people, if you agree to get into marriages with these people, if you decide to live with these people, if you go into business with these people, excuse me, just know that their drama becomes your drama eventually. A lot of times they try to hide it and try to, you know, talk their way out of, like, you could see something, you could see your partner meeting with the other team, and you see it plain as day. Somebody could have recorded the whole conversation and you heard them talking shit about you. It's a whole bunch of scandalous shit going on, and they will come back and look you dead in your face and be like, that wasn't what you just saw, and manipulate their way out of it. I'm just telling y'all what it is, okay? They some bad mother mama jammas, all right? Now they do tend to pull people in, right, and show them a lot of love. Love bombing is a very Scorpio trait, but at some point you start to see that the shit didn't mean what you thought it meant. They are very deep people. It's just emotionally they are not that vulnerable. So they won't go that deep with you unless they go that deep with you. And 9 times out of 10, unless you prove yourself to really be loyal to the soil and you pass every test and you show them that even when they shake and move, you're going to stick next to them, they're probably not going to show you their deepest, darkest wounds and secrets. Okay, they're going to try to hide. I already talked about it, but just to recap, they have a very transformative power. It makes the things that they touch and the things that they are a part of go through a tower experiment. Now, Scorpio is the sign that is about transformation. It's about, really tearing something down to the bare bones and seeing what's left and seeing what can be made of it, because manipulation is not just about conversations. It is about transforming energy from one modality or one element to another element. And so they do have this gift when it comes to, like I said, they can shake you. If it's you and you in a relationship with them, they're going to test you. They're going to shake you. They're going to get you down to your most vulnerable state and see, who is this person for real? Do I even really want this person as a part of my reality? Can they handle who I am and how I come sometimes when I get in my intense moods, And then from there, they can love bomb you and build your ass back up and be like, oh, baby, you did so good. I'm sorry I was tripping. Like, you shouldn't have to take that. Like, they'll acknowledge everything, but it's kind of like bullshit because they'll do it again. You feel me? But just, I think in relationships, that whole transformative element, it can sometimes get twisted and confused. When it comes to life and building and trying to establish oneself, it can be very frustrating because they tend to start over a lot. They are the type of people, even though they are consistent in starting over. So there's always a shake up, a change up, a switch up, something happening. And you got to kind of learn how to be okay through the ups and downs. I'm going to keep saying that to y'all. But like I said, if they have good intentions, if they are committed to consistently getting better, it will be the same brand of bullshit, but it's like, at least just find new things to, to touch and affect. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like, if you got to tear everything down, then let's at least reach some new levels so we can get to some new devils around this motherfucker. You feel me? But yeah, they tend to test every situation in their lives to try to see how far they can drag it, how far they can take it, to determine if it's strong enough, if it's valuable enough to keep around. And that is kind of their love language, is testing motherfuckers. And then just to kind of bring it all the way back home, the last note talks about how they tend to have tough upbringings. It's not always to say that there's abuse in the home or physical abuse. A lot of times it's an emotionally tough upbringing. They might have had everything that they needed in life. They might even come from a well-to-do family. They might even have siblings who were loved and who felt, let's talk about it, who felt loved, who felt supported in the home. But something about that child's disposition as they came out of the mother's hoo-ha that makes the parents kind of react to them differently. Because they can be one child of 4. You feel me? And all the rest of the kids have different moon signs. And you're wondering, well, if they grew up in the same house and you're saying the Scorpio moon has such a tough time, well, how come the Pisces moon, the Libra moon, and the Gemini moon didn't have such a tough time? Because they're different people. They have a different experience. They come into the world with a different energy. And so whatever situations that this Scorpio moon child hopped in and out of, or whatever the circumstance was around the time of their birth and upbringing, can really, like, it can make it so 2 kids can grow up in the same household and have completely different experiences. And so, yes, they tend to have the tough lives as children. They tend to be kind of nosy as kids. They want to pry. They want to know what's going on. They want to be let in. And good parents tend to want to shield the kids from that. But because of who this Scorpio moon is and their energy, they react negatively to that. Me being a Libra moon, I remember shit used to go on, and I'm, grown now, and I be thinking like, damn, I didn't really realize that I was living through that at that time. And I'm grateful that my parents shielded me from certain things. The Scorpio moon is going to think back and say, hold that against their parents and use that as like a divisive thing, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, but also Mars. And so Mars is like the planet of war, and Pluto is the planet of power. And so they feel like if you're not letting me in, it's because you're trying to hold something over my head. You're trying to control the environment, trying to control my emotions. You're invalidating what I psychically am downloading and what I psychically know you're not telling me. And so it makes them have a general distrust for people. And as they grow up, you know, a lot of times that distrust just sort of grows. Like, life is tough. People are not that great sometimes. I'm just gonna say it. Like, be grateful for the good people that you have around you, and the people that you can look to and feel inspired by, because most people aren't shit. And so if you're, you know, any person walking this earth, you're gonna pick up on that. You're gonna have those experiences with those types of people who are not clear in their heart, right? And so I would say any normal person would probably experience more of that than they do good, because it is what it is, you feel me? But the Scorpio moon just reacts to that by treating everybody like the ops. Everybody's an op, and you know, if you don't pass one of those little tests that they throw out, then you definitely a op. So you could go from being in the inner circle to being an op real fucking quick, just based off, you know, not playing the game how they want you to play the game, because they believe that this life is for the taking. You know, they really want to amass this level of respect and this level of power. And they see everybody as, you know, can you be on my team or are you the opposition? You feel me? And if you're on their team, it's tough because they are good. They're good players. I'm going to say that. I respect the fact that they are so committed to the game. But if you're on their team, just know you're not going to have a power position. You are but a pawn. If they, you know, give you a little promotion and let you be a rook or some shit, or a motherfucking you know what I'm saying, knight or some shit like that, you better be grateful that they passed you that, because for them, they want to be the only players making moves on the board. For them to trust another person to make moves for them, it takes a lot just to get their trust, period, you know? So if you are in a relationship with a Scorpio moon, if you have a close friendship with a Scorpio moon, or if you yourself are a Scorpio moon person, please comment down below. Let me know how this video kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, how you took it in. If there's anything that I said that you can really relate to, anything that stood out like a sore thumb. I've had a lot of experiences with these people, and I do tend to love them a lot. Like, my placements make me a very accepting person. I'm like, oh, I see you. I see how you are. That's okay. Like, let me just love on you. But depending on where that person is in their life, these people can be very helpful energies. They can really give you what you need and put you in a position to win, right? Because they see the board so clearly. Or they can be really spiky and you try to hold on to them and it's like, oh, you don't save her. She don't want to be saved type energy. You feel me? Like, just super closed off, and like, you emotional, you crying, you a mess, you need somebody, you feel me? But you pushing people away because you don't fully accept yourself in all of your intensity, all of your power, all of your power that you have. Because if Scorpio moons just kind of calm down and realize how intensely powerful they are, they can change their own lives for the better. But a lot of times they focus more on social situations, work situations where they really want to be dominant. And that whole, you know, and that whole process of, you know, maintaining their personal power, it just evades them. They don't even see the wealth in that. They don't see the value in that, because it does take people to get things done. And Scorpio knows how to get in people's minds in order to make them move how they need them to move so they can win. So that is my dissertation for the Scorpio moon. Like I said, leave any comments down below if you have anything to add. If I missed anything, if you can relate, let me know. Share this video with a Scorpio moon that you know. And as always, if you guys would like a personal reading with me so that I can actually read your specific birth chart, so we can talk about all of your placements and what that means as far as your personality, your life journey, so on and so forth, you can just go to nellnicole.com. The link is in the description bar, okay, or the description box. And you want to go to book a session, book a reading, book a consultation, come see me, okay? Other than that, that's all I got. I love you guys so much. Until next time, peace.